Pretty much just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow, and then I'll do a session recap of today. So as always, let's keep this quick, clean, and easy. Now, as we can see here on the SPY, really just consolidating. Right? I would say the SPY and the Qs are pretty much in sync, and I'll break down how they look very identical. So right, Monday and Tuesday, right? What do I notice? Right, we couldn't get over this 664.55. Right, Wednesday, Thursday, we finally get over that. Now, what do I notice now? Right, we can't get over this 669, right? And I'm not surprised we're seeing sellers up here because as soon as we push up here, I mean, all-time highs is right there. As soon as we can get above this, clear shot towards all-time highs, right? So this thing is still in play to the upside. Something I do want to break down is, what do you notice here? This 659 is holding this file, right? We're not ready to short this name, right? Just still looking for pullback longs. So as of today, right, buyer stepped in very aggressively, 659, we closed back above it yesterday on the dot. The day before, right, on the dot after we reclaimed that, and then obviously Monday, right? So a lot of consolidation. When you look at it, it's really an inside bar today, right? Inside bar day. Price didn't continue higher. It didn't continue lower. It tried to at the end of the day, but we reclaimed that. So buyers reclaiming the previous day low, right? That's a strong sign of more upside. So as we can see, we're not that far away from all-time highs. This thing is not ready to be shorted, in my opinion. We need to see a lot more breakdown on the overall market before we can be bearish bias. But right, we're moving higher each day. Today we almost had it, but seeing a breakdown to the downside as soon as we approach all-time highs, that doesn't surprise me at all. But the last 2 to 3 days, the SPY and the Qs have been very much in sync, right? Let's break this down, right? On the Qs, it's really the same thing. So what do I notice on Monday and Tuesday? Right, we cannot get over, right, this 602.87, right? And then we finally get over it. And then what do I notice today, right? The 2 days in a row, we can't get over the 607.15, right? Same thing. So, right, and then let's come down here. This 595 is clearly, clearly a key level, right? This thing is holding, right, the Qs up. This thing is definitely holding the Qs up, right? So if we see a breakdown under 595.85, we can definitely see some more downside. But overall, we're really just consolidated, right? We're not trending, right? This entire week really hasn't been a trend, right? Yesterday and today, it looked like possibly we could start seeing more upside. But other than that, really just stuck in a range overall, right? We're not moving higher. We're not moving lower, right? We did recover, from that sell-off that we had last Friday, but there's really not much going on. And, I'm sure we see that the overall market, all the tech names, which I'll get into that in a bit. But in my opinion, I think we're seeing the impact of this government shutdown, right? The only reason I say that is because we don't have any red folder news, right? Those are news catalysts, right? That pushes the market, whether it's to the upside, whether it's to the downside. So I said that in my live trading session today, just not having any red folder news, that's not giving us a boost or a push. Doesn't matter to which side. I think we only have one red folder news. It was Monday. I think Jerome Powell spoke at 9 a.m. and that really didn't do much. But overall, when you just look at the Qs and the SPY, there's nothing going on, right? We're not moving higher. We're not moving lower. We're just sitting in a range. So we're seeing that across the entire market. And I think we're starting to see the impact of that government shutdown, right? So nevertheless, as soon as we can get over the 607.15, right, we can definitely see more upside. All-time highs is still in play. And we can clearly see this 595.85 is definitely what's holding the Qs up, right? I've been saying, last 2 days, the overall indices, like the Qs and the SPY, are pretty much the best names to trade, right? The past 2 days, I've taken a scalp on Qs, and then today I did, and then yesterday I took a scalp on SPY, but that's pretty much it, right? There's nothing going on across the board. So it's been a very slow week for me, right? I took a good loss on Monday on Tesla. Tuesday was a cash day. Yesterday was, pretty much a break-even day for me. I made $500, and then today, pretty much a break-even day for me. I made like $500. So this is a very slow week overall, right? But understanding, right, the market context is understanding when to be on the gas and when to be on the brakes. And right now, with nothing going on, is this is not the time to like try and make money, right? There's nothing going on in the market. Don't burn your account. Don't take a death by what do they call it? Death by 1,000 cuts, right? Don't just be patient. Let our trades come to us, and that's what we're going to continue to do, right? Tesla, nothing going on here, right? This has been pretty much 2 weeks now. It's kind of crazy. Tesla just in a range, right? We are not looking to trade this name at all. In a range up here, in a range down here. There's nothing going on. Like I've said, the only 2 key levels we're waiting for to get hit is this 445 break and retest, or I will be short biased on this name if we fall under 410, because 410 is what's holding Tesla up, right? No trade zone for a reason. As you can see, right, we've just been stuck in between 436 and 423. And as soon as we do break over 436, look at all the sellers that step in here, right? Look at all these wicks in this range, right? Look at all these wicks, right? Nothing in here. So what's the A plus long, right? Break, retest, 445, targeting the top of this range. So we're just hands off this name. It's been like this all week, right? Let's go on the 15-minute, nothing going on, right? Does this look like a name that's trending? Not at all, right? We've done nothing, right? So just be cautious, right? Sit on your hands, wait for your trades to come to you. AMD, I really recommend going to watch that live trading session today. I break down, how we avoid fakeouts. The game plan today was a break and retest over this 240.10 or a pullback long off this 227.30, right? We are not looking to short this name. This thing is bullish on the higher time frame. It just made new all-time highs today, right? Looks really good, right? So that being said, right, we're just looking, right, same game plan as today, a break and retest over this 240.10, which is now a very key level here. You can see, right, on this previous all-time high, because today made an all-time high, but this is a key level, key resistance level on the daily, right? Look at all these wicks up here, right? As soon as we get up here, sellers push this thing right back down. So key level to watch going into tomorrow is this 240.10. NVIDIA, right? Like I said, a little disappointed that NVIDIA fell under this weekly level, this 184.50, because this thing was holding it up, right? If you go back, prior to us filling this level, look how clean the price action was, and it was just an easy name to trade, right? But now, since we fell back under this 184.50, now we're just back in this channel, right? We avoided this for a reason. Now we're just back in this channel, right? And then as soon as we fall under 179.45, if we fall under it, right, we're just back in another channel. So like I said, this is going to be a difficult name to pretty much trade until we fall under like this 173, where price action is just more clear, right? So just like everything else, just stuck in a range now, right? This is no surprise to us. Been breaking this down on the pre-market, on the live trading sessions. There's nothing in here. Just 3 days in a row. This is all we've seen on the video, right? Just nothing going on, right? So same game plan tomorrow as it was today. We're just waiting for a break and retest to either side, right? If we can get a break and retest over this 184.50, that's a big deal. We just reclaim this weekly, right? We'll be over the previous day high. We turn a weekly resistance into support. That's a lot of confluences, right? So, and this name would definitely be back to the upside. But other than that, as long as we are under this weekly, 184.50, I am bearish bias on this name, right? So let me zoom out here, right? Because when I said if we fall under this 184.50, now that's a leg lower, right? We've already made our break, retest, and our leg lower, right? If we fall under this 179.45, clearly, right, we're just stair stepping to the downside, right? So just be cautious on that name. Let your trades come to you, right? Let your trades come to you. These are tough market conditions right now. Slow market conditions as well, right? Everything's sitting in a range, but I love that, right? Sometimes it makes it easier to trade because now you just sit and wait and you just let your trades come to you. So we're literally just waiting for a break and retest to either side, right? Break, retest to either side. That's all we're doing. So none here on the video, right? Just 184.50, this 179.45 are the 2 key levels to watch. Apple. So I took a trade today on Apple right off my pre-market plan. Was really a pullback long off of this. I'll break this down a little bit more thoroughly, right? Give me 1 sec. So very slow morning, right? Very slow morning. Very slow morning. I ended up, right? Remember, what do I always say? My favorite pullback longs is when we fell. People are selling this, selling their positions for a loss. They're getting squeezed out of their positions. And what does that do? That fuels this move higher. So I ended up playing the break retest right here. I sold 90% into this high day once I saw sellers step in for a quick 11% gain, went break even on my runners, right? But I always say treat your key levels like mini zones. You can see we did end up holding this 247.30, and then we moved higher. Never really got that continuation, right? We pushed back to high day, really couldn't hold above it. Then you can see we sold off. But something I do want to break down. 2 things I want to break down. One, right? We don't want to short this name. I've been saying that for the longest, right? We fell under, pull back long to this 244.75, buyer stepped in aggressively, right? And then we closed above, back above this weekly 247.30, right? Yesterday, right, we got that pullback long later into the session at 10 a.m., but look at the momentum that stepped in, right? Even on the 15-minute, look at the momentum that stepped in off this weekly on the 15, right? So this name is still intact to the upside, but what I want to break down is let's start here on Monday, just like everything else, right? Does this look like a name that's trending? Not at all. Not at all, right? It's trying to hold. It's doing very well holding 247.30 and holding to the upside. But just like everything else, just stuck in a range, right? So just understand like market conditions, right? Don't burn your account. Don't come into the day, trying to force trades. Everything has really been like an inside bar day, right? Yesterday was like probably the best looking day on Apple. Other than that, also just stuck in a range, right? We're really just stuck in between this 253 and this 247, clearly, right? But still the game plan going into tomorrow, right? A break and retest over this 247.30, targeting the top of this range, or a break and retest over 253, targeting top of this range and all-time highs, right? This thing is still in play to the upside. I am short bias on this name when we fall under 241.30. Let me just zoom out here on the daily. Can show you that, right? Because if we break under this, right, clearly we're bearish, right? That's a leg lower. So you can see we're consolidating here on the daily. But look, which through the damage body tells the story. We are defending this 257.30, right? We're just looking for this to hold and get some clean price action continuation to the upside. Palantir, terrible name. I've already gone over this. Like I said, your highest probability setups is off this 177 or a short off this 184.50. I'm not looking to touch this name at all until we break over 188 or when we break under 169. Google, really good analysis today. If you watch my live trading session, I really go over this. This was on my close watch list, just never got it. I was looking for the pullback long off this daily 251 to the upside, targeting all-time highs. Clearly that happened, right? Buyers were very much in control. We got that all-time high. It was so strong. Even here, right, if you were looking to play off the previous day high, right, you never even got a retest off that. We literally just ripped through it, ripped through that, and it filled us our objective, right? Went all-time highs, and then we got that sell-off, right? So I was looking for this pullback, but as soon as we opened, this thing just ran to the upside. But, right, if you're looking for Google, I mean, look at this. Does this look like a name that you want to short? This thing is very bullish to the upside. So just looking for pullback longs, right? A break and retest over 256.70, targeting more room to the upside, right? You could look for a pullback long or a break and retest over this 251, targeting the top of this range. This is really the A+ entry, right? You want something like this, right? Because now you just have a better RR trade, right? Price has to gravitate towards this unmitigated liquidity up here, making all-time highs, right? This is the better RR trade. I'd rather take this long down here than a long above here, right? But zoom out here on the daily, right? This thing's holding up. I'm not bearish biased on this name until we break under this 241.65. Now let's zoom out here. I mean, look at this. This thing is very bullish, right? So I would not be looking to short Google at all, right? It already made a new all-time high today, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. If it's sitting at the top of this range, right, I'm kind of hands off, but I will be looking, right, for a break and retest over this 251.50, targeting the top of this range.